Greetings, my beautiful viewership you, and welcome to an essay on why I waited to play Baldur's Gate 3. Now, my platform of choice for this game is PC and Steam. Of course, of course. And yes, for those of you familiar with my Yakuza 0 and Monster Sanctuary reviews, I have been doing that uh, for the past 2 months or so. But my waiting on Baldur's Gate 3 was intentional. Well, one, I wanted to know if this game was actually worthwhile. I bought this game in early access on Steam, and I decided, okay, I'll help the developers. I've liked Larian stuff before. I've bought like over 10 copies of Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 combined for myself and for friends, so I'm pretty sure that they're going to do well with BG3 once it finally comes out. And then Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and then suddenly it seems like the entire world knows about it. Some people are like, don't use BG3 as a standard for quality. And these just apparently were devs who are like, we don't know, or we don't know how to make games like this, or we don't want to have to make games like this because it's too good for us. And then there were fans who were like, step up your game, everyone else, if you want us to pay you money ever again. So with that controversy settled, let's just say that BG3 is a wonderful game. Buy into the hype if you haven't already. I do recommend playing this, and in a very low spoiler fashion, it is good. There. But why wait so long? Sure, the game's good, but is it worth waiting about 2 months to start? I say yes. And, well, just in case you're waiting longer for this because you're playing on Xbox or you don't yet have a machine that can handle BG3, know this. One, the game is a lot more patched and polished officially than it was about 2 months ago at the PC launch. Two, it's available on more platforms now, just in case you wanted to officially play this on PlayStation 5 or Mac. And three, if you're playing on PC, maybe on Mac or Linux if they ever release a version for that, note that there are mods. There are lots and lots of mods. If you want to play Artificer, for example, on BG3, you can. If you want to play characters with a level cap of 20 instead of 12, you can. If you want to play as a dragon, a full-on dragon, you can. If you want to cast spells which summon lots of familiars, you can. If you want to have an immortal dog companion who's cute and fluffy-eared, you can. If you want to have dyes of 21 colors, you can, and so on and so forth. So, for me, waiting to play Baldur's Gate 3 was not because I hated it, but because I loved it, and I wanted to make sure that it was actually worthwhile. Mind you, when I heard that BG3 was being released in August, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure this will be an interesting time. It's like, alright, it's probably a good game. It'll probably launch, and then not too much to claim. And then I learned later that on launch weekend, about 877,000 people were playing this game simultaneously, which was more than 1/4 of all people who were on Steam who were playing it simultaneously. Wow. Okay, well, better not spoil this game for myself then. And I say this having looked up a bunch of builds and talked to a bunch of people on various websites, and they're like, yeah, it's good. So, another major reason why I've been waiting to start on BG3 is because for the past, 2 to 3 years, I've been actually working on assembling a list of mods for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Edition. So, I consider, before BG3 came out and basically became a worldwide phenomenon, I considered BG1 and 2 to be the definitive platforms for playing D&D on PC, because there are simply so many mods which expand the capabilities of the base games. Yes, you can have a fairly complete experience that lasts for tens or hundreds of hours if you just play the enhanced editions of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 with the relevant expansions. I know. But for the Enhanced Edition Trilogy mod, or EET, which combines Baldur's Gate 1 Enhanced Edition and Siege of Dragonspear, and Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition, which includes the Throne of Baal expansion, yeah, that's a lot of content, and you can just go back and forth through the games and in all the areas you've unlocked, so you aren't constrained to finishing BG1, doing all the content that you want, and then starting BG2, wondering if you'll have reason to go back to BG1 areas. Well, with mods for EET, you can do a lot more than this. In the big continuous world of Faerun along the Sword Coast, you can also visit Icewind Dale for Icewind Dale Games 1 and 2. You can visit a bunch of other places and have side adventures, major side adventures with Drizzt Do'Urden and his companions. You you can cast spells that were never in the original game, like Flight, or Levitate, or Teleportation Circle, or Mechanist Cannon, or Reverse Gravity, or or play with Diablo 2 classes with their own custom spells and kits. Or use Shadow Magic, which is a separate system, or do one of many other things that I haven't listed here just because there are so many, so many, so many mods. It also helps that Baldur's Gate 1 has been out now for about 25 years, and I know that's a long time in video game terms. Baldur's Gate 2 has been out now for, well, over 20 years, which is also a long time in video game terms, and the enhanced editions of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 have been out now for each about 10 years. So, a lot of content has been made. And sure, you can argue that Baldur's Gate 3 has a bunch of those new systems and quality of life features already in, officially or with mods, whereas EET, well, either doesn't have it at all or requires a bunch of mod intricacies. But, well, if you want to mod it in, you likely can. So, Baldur's Gate 3. If you want to play with me, well, I might be open to this, but I plan to be playing with family first. Because we have a party planned, and we plan to be investigating what sort of mods are especially interesting for us. The current party plan is, at least initially, because we know that we can respec, Human Cleric, main character, male Human Cleric, main character with the Tempest domain, sword and shield, that sort of thing, as well as a male, as well as Will, because we plan to respec him into a Bard, Bard 1, Warlock 2, because we want Devil Sight and Agonizing Blast, and we plan to be spamming Eldritch Blast, going Lorelock, Lore Bard plus Warlock, and then we plan to start also with Shadowheart, and once we can respec her, we plan to make her go some sort of druid, maybe druid of the moon, because we plan to be using a mod which changes wild shape. Maybe druid of the stars, maybe druid of the land for haste, and then at least to start, we'll probably be using Astarion because we want to steal the pants off everything. It's fun. It's a Larian game tradition where you steal everything of note, and we'll probably be fine. So, to summarize, why did I wait so long for Baldur's Gate 3? Because I knew it would be worth the wait. In terms of fan editions, as well as official content updates, just to make the game worthwhile. Thank you again, Larian, for improving the genre with BG3, just like BioWare did with BG1 and 2 and their expansions. And thank you fans of D&D and Baldur's Gate 3 for hyping this up and for helping advance the genre as much as you did. Basically being able to play a digital version of a tabletop D&D game even though it cost years of development and probably millions of dollars, maybe hundreds of millions. Yeah, I think it's worth it. It's been one of those dreams of mine to be able to steal the pants off everyone, bluff to everyone, and then go back and kill them if I felt like it. So there we go. Mike Lemmer, if you're listening to this, well, you got what you wanted in your RP Gamer or RPG Gamer article many years ago. But it's in Baldur's Gate 3, not some sort of sci-fi station game RPG. So, thank you again, everyone. Good night, and God bless.